This build destroys Grandmaster Nightfalls and any other endgame content there is available in Destiny 2. This thing is abnormally disgusting and nasty when dealing with champions. This is, oh my god, dude, you're gonna get tons of radiant, explosions, scorching targets, ignitions, and a damage weapon boost. All of that for this build. This is insane. This makes Grandmaster Nightfalls so easy. It's like a strike, basically. If you want to see more builds like these, be sure to hit that like and sub button. Without further ado, let's get right into it. This is how you can be able to cause ignitions, scorching, and getting a weapon damage boost by just using this solar scout rifle. Whenever getting precision hits, it would return ammo to the magazine. So let's just say you're dealing with a big boss with big HP. The more precision hits you land on that boss, you basically get infinite ammo if you keep on getting those precision hits non-stop. And whenever you land 4 precision hits, it would load a delayed solar explosive round for your next shot. So the more you spam precision hits, the more explosions you're going to be getting with this scout rifle. And for the weapon perk, which makes this scout rifle pretty good with recoil. Whenever you cause damage with this weapon, it would reduce the recoil and flinch over time. If you do have the catalyst, it is kind of pretty good for bigger explosions because it would grant you dragonfly. Whenever you get precision kills, it would create an elemental damage explosion. So you're mainly going to be using this weapon for endgame content if you want to make Grandmaster Nightfalls, for example, like a strike, basically. And if you would have 2 other people using this, I can't even explain how good that would be. Don't you guys remember back in the day when many people would use triple outbreak perfected in Grandmaster Nightfalls and that would destroy everything? Well, this is basically it, but 10 times better with ad clear and explosions. And if you don't have 2 other people using this, you're fine because you are a one-man army. Now let's see how we can be able to enhance this exotic weapon even more by using this exotic helmet, which will improve your scorch effects and would also give you a small amount of melee energy whenever you scorch damaging targets. We're going to be doing that basically every single time. And also we have to use the super daybreak if you want to take the full effect of this helmet, because your daybreak projectiles deal more damage and scorches targets on impact, which will equivalent to ignitions if you're battling a enemy that has tons of health. And you can also weaken bosses with your super because we have the seasonal artifact mod, which will allow us to debuff targets. Now let's head to the abilities. For the abilities, you can choose any class ability you would like. If you want more damage, you can go for Empowering Rift, or if you want to survive longer, you can go for Healing Rift. It doesn't really matter what you choose from. For the solar melee, if you want to get more ignitions and scorch, be sure to put Incinerator Snap. And for your solar grenade, in my personal opinion, I think that solar grenade is the best grenade in PvE out there, so I'm choosing solar grenade. And you can also enhance this with the aspect we're going to be using. And for that aspect, it's called Touch of Flame. Your solar grenades increases the linger duration, and it would periodically emit blobs of lava around its perimeter. And for the second aspect, you can choose any of the aspects you would like. There's actually 2 of them, but this one I'm using Icarus Dash for just movement, basically. But if you want to use Heat Rises, go for it, because I like to be a speedy boy. That's why I choose Icarus Dash. Now for the fragments, the first one will allow you to apply more scorch stacks to targets, which will give you even higher of a chance to proc ignitions. The second one will increase the area of effect whenever you cause an ignition. And also whenever you cause an ignition, it would also spread scorch to the affected target. And last but not least, we are going to be getting a lot of radiant, so I am deciding to put this fragment, which will allow you to increase the duration for radiance, so you won't have to worry about running low on that, even though we're going to be getting it non-stop. But the longer it is, the better it is. Now let me show you guys the main seasonal artifact mods you should be using for this build. This one would allow you to get radiant at all times, but you would have to get rapid solar precision hits or rapid solar weapon final blows. The next one will allow you to scorch targets with solar weapons, but you would have to be radiant, and also the enemy has to be unscorched in order for this to work. The next one will allow you to get increased damage for your super and also give your teammates radiant whenever you cast your solar super nearby your allies. And last but not least, whenever you're radiant, solar precision final blows causes combatants to ignite. So those are the main seasonal artifact mods to make the Polaris Lance disgusting. Now for the weapons. For the kinetic weapon, I'm putting the Strand Fusion Rifle that comes with overflow and controlled burst. I chose this one because of the seasonal artifact mods. And in this case, whenever you pick up an orb of power, it would grant your strand weapons unraveling rounds. Yes, I do know this will give you anti-barrier rounds, but I'm putting this one just because of unraveling rounds. And also the next seasonal artifact mod as well. The next one, whenever you damage unravel targets with a weapon, it would occasionally spawn a thread link. So you have 2 ways to get anti-barrier rounds cooldowns for this fusion rifle. One is radiant and two is unraveling rounds. And for the power weapon, I'm putting this rocket launcher, which is solar, that comes with reconstruction and bait and switch. You could also get overload rounds with this rocket launcher because of the seasonal artifact mod. Rocket launchers are especially effective against overload champions, and who would have guessed, overload rocket launchers this season deals 80% more damage to overload champions. So let's talk about which champions can you stun. Basically, you can stun every champion in the game if you like. For your Polaris Lance, you can stun unstoppable champions because we're going to be proccing ignitions from it. 2 anti-barrier champions because we're getting radiant from your Polaris Lance and your fusion rifle. And 3, we're going to be getting overload rocket launchers, and yeah, you can stun overload champs. Now let's talk about what stats you guys need. You got to go for resilience because resilience is the best stat for endgame content because it would give you a 30% damage reduction if you have tier 10. And the next one for your stats, be sure to go for recovery if you want to reduce your cooldown for your class ability, because one, we are on Warlock. It would also increase the speed at which you regain lost health. Now let's head to the armor mods for the build. The first one you're going to want to put is Harmonic Siphon because one, it ties to your super. So we're using a solar subclass, so it would be rapid solar weapon final blows, creates an orb of power, and plus it's cheap. The next one is good for your solar grenade. Gain bonus super energy on grenade kills, which is ashes to assets. The final one is Heavy Ammo Finder. Increases the drop chance of heavy ammo on kill. What's best about this one is that whenever you get primary ammo kills, especially an exotic weapon, in which case we're using that in this build, it would help you find ammo more quickly. Now onto the gauntlets. The first armor mod would help you get an orb of power whenever you get a solar grenade final blow, which is called firepower. The next one reduces your grenade cooldown whenever you cause damage with your powered melee attack, and it's called impact induction. And last but not least, I chose to put harmonic loader, which increases the reload speed for your solar weapons. I mainly chose to put this because we're mainly using this Polaris Lance, and without this harmonic loader, it is pretty slow in my opinion. So by having this on, you would not have to worry about reloading for a century. For the chest armor, I put harmonic resistance, reduces incoming solar damage from combatants. The next one, arc resistance, reduces incoming arc damage from combatants. And last but not least, concussive dampener, reduces incoming area of effect from combatants. Now for the leg armor, if you guys want more healing, and which I do highly recommend for endgame content, be sure to put recuperation. Replenishes health each time you pick up an orb of power. The next one will reduce the cooldown each time you pick up an orb of power, and that would be innervation. So yes, we are using the Polaris Lance most of the time, so I like to increase the damage even further, so I'm putting solar weapon surge. Your solar weapons gain a small bonus to damage while you have any armor charges. And last but not least, onto the James Bond Warlock. The first one, I would like to increase the duration for my armor charges because we're using solar weapon surge, so your decaying armor charges have a longer duration, which is called time dilation. The next one is for the lazy people that can't be able to collect an orb of power, and that is me, to be honest. Automatically collecting nearby orbs of power when you activate your class ability. And last but not least, you'll be granted an orb of power shortly after using your class ability, but you would have to get a weapon final blow in order for you to proc this, which is called Reaper. So primarily for this build, you're going to be using the Polaris Lance most of the time, and also your super if you want to cause insane amounts of ignitions and scorching effects towards targets. So the more precision hits you inflict on a target, the more likely they're going to explode and die. And if you guys would like to try out the build for yourself, the dim link will also be in the link in the description if you're interested. So if you did enjoy this video, be sure to hit that like and sub button. I greatly appreciate it. I hope to see you guys in the next video. Be sure to have a good rest of your day, evening, or afternoon. Take care and peace.